Today I'm going to be talking about my completely upside down experience of cold calling and how it went compared to when I was doing the web development service as opposed to the lead generation service. So today was the first real day I started it. I did about 29 calls yesterday in total, including the callbacks and getting calls, and I wouldn't really consider that an actual day of cold calling. But today I'd say 70 on my laptop, but if you include some callbacks and the fact that I had to call more people, it would scale to well over 100 because my phone is there's just like it goes too far down to actually get all the calls today, so it doesn't actually have them all recorded. So I don't know whether I made 110, probably 115 maybe overall, but it was around 70 to 100 anyway. I just don't really understand how people make 100, but each to their own. Some people are just very quick, I suppose, but I kind of focus very much on quality and making sure I've called the person back fully, and I don't count the callbacks when I'm putting in the calls. So in total I've booked about, I don't know, probably 4 meetings so far. Actually 5 meetings so far, about 3 today anyway. And it's pretty incredible, to be honest, because I've never had anything close to that before. It just seems like people in general are more interested in what I have to offer, because my offer is better than it was before. Before it was like, you can increase your brand awareness online because you'll have a nice looking website. Now it's more like, I will generate your clients on a pay per results basis, and there's not really any risk to you but the ad spend, and I have that covered as well because I am objectively going to turn a positive return on ad spend for you. It's just a way better offer. Now I am still struggling with some things when it comes to the cold calling. The number one objection is we are way too busy at the moment and we don't want any more clients or customers at all. Like, we are absolutely overrun, and that's about, I'd say, 70 to 80% of the businesses I'm calling. The other 10% of them actually are the owner just doesn't show up. Another 5% of them should have retired about 10 years ago, and another 5% again are actually on board with getting in a call or some kind of call. Might be a phone call, maybe not a Zoom call. Well, the script is going to remain the same anyway, more or less. So it feels pretty good to have booked some meetings. If I've booked about, well, I haven't really booked 5. I've kind of gotten one person who said that they would like to book one, but I had to email them first, and I wasn't assertive enough on the phone to actually get them to book a meeting. So yeah, but 4 meetings, that's like, if my conversion rate is 10%, then that means that I only need 6 more meetings to get a client, which is, it's nice. It's a nice feeling. And that's just what I really want. I just really want a client, because when I get that client, it's going to kick in this feedback loop, and then I'm just going to get addicted to getting clients, and I'm never going to stop. Like, never ever, I'm not going to stop, because it's going to eclipse every other experience I've ever had in my life. I spoke yesterday of that time I thought I got $3,500 from this person who hired me for logos. But if I'm actually doing a service like this and I'm actually going to get paid for it, I know I'm going to get addicted immediately, and there's not going to be any stopping me. It's just now I'm focusing all of my efforts on keeping myself going and continuing to struggle with the grind, and I know it's going to be delayed because people are generally pretty slow when it comes to response times. I figured that out with the websites. I mean, I still have people whose websites I'm going to do, and they haven't sent me any information yet. And I'm half hoping they don't, if I'm being honest, because I just want to focus on this for now. Because I'm going to have more time focusing on the agency I'm actually going to scale, instead of the one that's serving quick cash for me. just now it's like I feel kind of like Sisyphus rolling up a boulder up a hill, and the hill is very, very bloody long, and if I let go of it once, I'll have to start all over again. But I'd say I'm closer to the top than I am to the bottom at this point. 60-70% of the way there, and I just need to keep going a bit further, a bit further, and a bit further. If I don't stop, that'll be good. But the main point here is your offer. It doesn't really matter how confident you are on the phone, how good at sales you are, how enthusiastic and responsive to the prospect you are. Your offer eclipses all of that immediately. And I watched Thomas Garnett's video, and people were saying in the comments, now this isn't my opinion, but this is what people were saying. They were saying that he didn't seem to have the most salesman attitude. He just sounded kind of like a regular person, almost even bored at the service he was offering. But because his offer was so good, the prospect didn't really care, and therefore they went through with the sale. And I kind of no, I'm not expressing an opinion on Thomas Garnett or anything. I'm just saying that even though I may have developed my sales skills and my ability to talk to people in the last few months, I did not really stand a chance of getting someone on a sales call because I was offering to design a website. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just it doesn't have a proper, like a measurable return that a business owner would care about. And I wasn't niched down enough either. Another thing I noticed is I've chosen my niche now, and therefore I'm able to figure out what the trends in this industry are much quicker, and I'm already so much more aware than I was yesterday just from making 70 to 80 calls to 70 or 80 businesses. Like, I'm able to actually think about what things they particularly want at this point. I can see that they're like about 90% of them are busy already. They're not expressing any interest in more clients. And if I can continue that, then into autumn, I can really push this industry in autumn and in spring particularly, because those are the two seasons where they're not going to be busy because they don't need air conditioning because it's not summer. They don't need heating because it's not winter. And that's all I really have to say on it. And to be honest, I was enjoying the calling at the start of the day, and I was kind of enjoying just talking to people on the phone and listening to them. But, after the 40th one, as usual, it just gets kind of nightmarish to continue going through. But I did it anyway, and once again, I am stronger than I was yesterday. Again, though, you do get some really difficult people on the phone, and I'm not saying difficult as in hard to convince, because those kinds of prospects improve your articulation skills and they make you feel proud of yourself for having booked a meeting with them. No, I'm talking about the people who now, I'm not complaining. I mean, these people have value in themselves. They make you more thick-skinned, but in the moment itself, it is a draining experience, because I think one person said something like, "Oh yeah," one guy was just making a big laugh out of it all, and you're saying, "Are you for real?" I've never heard such an unreal cold call in my life. And then he said, "Get back to school," and then he hung up. It's going to be an interesting story to talk about anyway. Another person was, oh yeah, this person wasn't as explicitly bad, but I felt worse after the conversation. So I called him 3 times anyway. I called once, the call failed after like 2 seconds after dialing. Called again, call failed again. Called the 3rd time, the call failed the 3rd time. A few minutes later, he calls back. He didn't get me on the phone because I was in conversation with another prospect. And so I called him back anyway, and he says, "Oh yeah, you were ringing me," and I said, "Yeah," and he said, "You rang me 3 times, and I said, "Yeah, but two, like, they were all failed calls, and I wasn't able to get through to you," and he said, "Yeah, yeah, but it just seems pretty impatient though." I was just thinking, it may seem impatient, but a lot of business owners don't pick up their phone the first 2 times because they think it's a scammy cold call, and I am one of those adjectives, but I'm not the first one. So I'm going to keep going through with the call anyway, and even if you think I'm being overly persistent or pushy, that's not really my problem, because the onus between the offender and the person who chooses to get offended is the person who chooses to get offended. And I've realised that in recent times. If you get offended at something, it's kind of your fault, because you can choose how to react to it. You can try and, like, if you have a logical, normally functioning brain, you can choose to just say, this person is trying to just say something, but they come off as kind of a jackass, but they're not trying to come off as a jackass, but they are anyway. Not really their fault. They were probably socially bred to be unaware like this, and it's not my problem either. That's okay. I feel like it might have been a similar case with that guy. He was afterwards. He said something like, "And make sure to send me an email, and I'll check through it because I can't really hear you on the line." And I said, "Yeah, sure. And if you don't respond, I'll just give you a call next week to make sure you got the email." And he said, "No, don't do that. Don't do that. We will reply to you," something like that. Again, due to my environment, I'm predisposed to take things a bit more seriously when someone rejects me that severely. And that wasn't even a rejection, it was just like a quick pushback, like, no. Like, it's like how a Russian person would say, "That's a stupid thing you said," with complete indifference in their face, and you will just be absolutely destroyed from the inside, because you've been raised up in this Western culture that's so mollycoddling, and you can never have anything bad said to your face. But then there's the other side of people who have had bad things said to their faces, and since children they've had bad things said to their faces, and they've this particular group of people have their defenses have been shattered. Like, it hasn't been in a good way. They've grown accustomed to getting insulted. It's been in a bad way, and it hasn't made them tougher. It's made them weaker, and that's like another group of people to be aware of when you're talking, like, really assertively. Like, there are a group of people who will genuinely take offense to that, and they'll think that you're genuinely intending to hurt them. Now, you might not be, but it still has the same effect whether you desire it or not. Everything you do has an effect. Every single one of your creative causes has an effect, and if you're not aware of these, it could end up being an effect you don't want, so you need to be careful of that. I don't have anything else to say on this.